Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm Cameron Songer, joined now by UNCP men's basketball head coach Ben Miller. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Cam.
The Braves are coming off a storybook season that saw them register 26 wins, a share of the Peach Belt Conference's Eastern Division crown, and their third trip to the NCAA postseason in 5 years. What are some of the memories of last season that have stuck with you the most?
Well, I remember quite a few guys coming back out of shape last fall, which may surprise some people, but I was honestly really concerned. Last year at this time, we had a few guys out of shape. We had Ben Jacobs, who was really banged up, and somehow it all came together and ended up being a lot of fun last year. Big win at UAB to start things off. That, I think, gave our guys a lot of confidence, got people excited about the team, and then hosting the Peach Belt Conference tournament here for the first time was really exciting. Going to the tournament and getting a big first NCAA tournament win was a lot of fun too. And then, maybe even more special too, we had 6 guys, counting some student assistants, graduate last spring. So that was memorable.
All right, well, your team has already been ranked 10th in the Division II preseason bulletin top 25 and is likely going to be one of the top contenders for the PBC regular season crown this season. What does the preseason hype mean for your program, and how much do you talk about those kinds of headlines with your team?
We don't spend a lot of time talking about it as a team, but obviously it's fun for the fans. Our guys are, they get excited about that thing, and obviously it helps in recruiting, maybe ticket sales as well. So it definitely is a real positive for the program overall.
Let's talk about this year's team now, which returns relatively intact after that pretty impressive 2014-15 campaign. The Braves returned 3 starters and 7 other letter winners off last season's squad to make up an extremely veteran squad. What kind of luxury is that for you as a coach?
Well, we actually have 4 seniors that are fifth-year guys, all that had the luxury of a redshirt year. So when you have that kind of experience, it makes us coaches look like we know what we're doing. So you actually have, besides a great assistant coaching staff, you have 4 coaches on the floor, those veterans that have been through the battles that can help teach the younger guys as well. So it makes everything a lot more fun and a little bit easier at times.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but you return a pair of starters from that 2013-2014 squad that redshirted last year in Jahad Wright and Alex Bradley. How much more dangerous is your team with those 2 players back out there on the floor?
Yeah, well, we lost some great leadership with Griffin Pittman, Ben Jacobs, and Cody and Reggie as well, James McGee. So we lost some great seniors, but when you can add a couple veterans like that to the rest of the seniors coming back, both those guys are 4th-year juniors. So, Jahad's a 5th-year senior, and then we've got a couple other guys that are 4th-year juniors. So collectively, we do have a lot of experience, and along with some great newcomers. But I think Alex and Jahad both can really change the game defensively. That stands out in practice last year. There were days where, they were very impressive with their defensive effort, and they can both score as well. So it's exciting getting those guys back on the floor.
Your front court is pretty solid with the return of both 1,000-point scorer Brandon Winford and Tyler Cordenbrock, as well as the addition of some newcomers that should help your team as well. How comfortable are you with the big guys heading into the season, and how much will those guys factor into the success of this season?
Well, we do have a couple veterans. Winford's been, a 4-year starter for us. Cordenbrock has continued to improve and had a great offseason. After that, we lost some key guys with Ben Jacobs and Big Reggie, and Cody played some for us there, but we had some additions with the freshman class. I think we got some guys there that'll be factors as well. So we do have some depth. It's young depth, but having those two seniors will really make a difference.
In the backcourt, there might not be a deeper team in the country than UNCP this season. All-American Kwame Rose returns to the starting lineup, as does Brandon Watts, who averaged 13.5 points a game as a freshman last season. They're joined by a plethora of guys, both veterans and newcomers, that can get on the floor and score some points for you as well. What will you do with so much talent in the backcourt this season?
Well, practices will be very competitive. I think we do have luxury of having depth, probably a little bit more in the backcourt than maybe the front line. We really have depth both places. It's just a lot more youthful on the front line. But in the backcourt, we got a lot of options. Occasionally we'll play a little smaller lineup where we might have 3 guards on the floor. We got great quickness, but I do think it's going to be competitive, and it'll be interesting to see these first couple weeks of practice who really stands out from a defensive perspective. They can all score, and so we'll challenge each of them to stand out with their defense, with their understanding of team concepts, moving the ball, But we got a lot of options, and that's going to be good for us.
All right, Coach, stick around. We need to take our last break on the Black and Gold Report. When we come back, we're still talking to Ben Miller. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi. Here with Ben Miller, UNCP men's basketball head coach. Coach, let's talk about some of the newcomers for this season. You have 8 guys that will play their first seasons in Pembroke this year, including Texas Southern transfer Giovanni Mack and 6'10" freshman Carson Mounts. Who are some of the new guys you think will make a difference in the lineup right away this year?
There's quite a few of them. Obviously, Giovanni has a year of college basketball under his belt, so his transition will be a little bit different than all the freshmen. With 6 freshmen, it's hard to tell. We've got a lot of size. You mentioned Carson, but Jeff McElwain and James Murray Boyles. He's a bigger, versatile wing type player. C.J. Miller, Jimmy Stady. We've got a lot of options. So it'll be interesting to see who adjusts to the intensity level of practice. We will have the luxury, hopefully, of redshirting some of those freshmen, and that's really benefited, a lot of guys in our program. Everyone in our senior class used a redshirt year just to get caught up, with strength, adjusting to college. A lot of our league has so many transfers that are older guys that sometimes we need to take advantage of those redshirt years just to get our guys a little more maturity. So that first couple weeks of practice will show us a lot.
Exhibition season right around the corner. You open up on October 30th against the All-Army team at Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court, and then head to Winston-Salem for a battle against Wake Forest. What do you expect to get out of those preseason games, and how do they prepare your team for the regular season?
Well, it's a great preseason schedule. Actually, it's not on our schedule that we publicize, but we have a scrimmage with Coker as well. You can't put that on your schedule, and it's not open to public attendance, but it's a kind of closed-door scrimmage where we can get out there and really go against somebody besides each other, and that'll be a great opportunity for us, along with the All-Army team, who we went up to Fort Bragg last year, and they kind of stuck it to us, and they're a bunch of grown men with a lot of playing experience, some professional experience, so that'll be great for us, and obviously going up to Wake Forest will be an exciting opportunity for our team, for our fans, and everybody in that kind of environment.
Now, looking at the regular season schedule a little bit now, it's hard to pick out one game, but if you had to pick one game that really excites you, either in non-conference or in PBC play, what would it be?
It's tough. I really think it's the toughest schedule we've had. When you talk about 2 games against Mount Olive, the defending region champ, 2 games against Winston-Salem State, a traditional power, other regional rivals like Fayetteville State, Wingate. I mean, it's the toughest schedule we've had, not to mention our opening weekend where we're going to be playing Lenore Rhine, Catawba. A lot of games that I think our fans will get excited about, and great programs. We played Barton, who won the national championship a few years back. So it's hard to pinpoint one. Obviously, the Peach Belt is going to be as competitive as ever, one of the best leagues in the country. And a lot of really great teams there, but our non-conference schedule, I think, will do a great job of getting us ready for that kind of competition.
UNCP has led the PBC in home attendance 2 out of the last 3 seasons, and you regularly attract capacity or near capacity crowds at home. What is it that makes Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court such a tough place to play at?
Well, our students have been fantastic. They've come out and they really make a lot of noise, but the community's been unbelievable. Mickey Locklear and some of his buddies that actually tailgate before the games, they kind of set the tone for the local fans in the community that even when we haven't had students in session, we've still had well-attended games, and that's been a big change from when we first got here. So it really creates an atmosphere that gives us an advantage. It's a little smaller gym than some in our league, which I kind of like because it gets good and loud, and the fans, they're right there on top of you. We even have courtside seats now. So our fans have been great, and they've really gotten behind our team, and it makes a big difference.
All right, Coach, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of the Black and Gold Report. For both coaches, I'm Cameron Songer. Thanks for watching, and until next time, go Braves. The best fans in the Peach Belt Conference. The Peach Belt Conference's most electric atmosphere is right here in Pembroke, North Carolina. Come witness the action as the Braves quest for the 2015-16 Peach Belt Conference titles. Get your tickets today.